The Centurion Project. Written by the 8th Day of Night. Chapter 24. Distractions. Part 2.
So, Guardsman Bright, did you enjoy your time with Enyon?
Luna asked, making small talk. Eli shrugged. I guess. It was definitely refreshing from all the soft pony stuff. He scratched his head. I think I'm gonna start visiting him more often. He seems much more human, really. Ponies are nice to be around and all, but sometimes I just feel out of place. He chuckled. Even when I can pick fights with some of the other guards.
Out of place?
Luna echoed. Yeah, Elias agreed. Humans and ponies aren't that different from each other, barring the obvious differences. But sometimes ponies seem too cuddly? Elias shrugged. I don't know. I just think that if I was anywhere except a castle full of more aggressive ponies than Equestria, I'd lose my mind. At least anyone who's in the guard sort of understands where I'm coming from.
Would it be more accurate to say that pony culture is more of a shock compared to your experience with griffin culture?
Luna asked. They were getting close to the room, and if Elias thought ponies were too cuddly now... Elias shrugged again. I guess. A sigh escaped his lips. I don't know. It's complicated. My friends are great, and I care about all of them, and I wouldn't trade them for anything, but...
But?
Luna pressured. But I can't shoot the shit with them, Elias said. They don't swear, and they're not competitive conversationalists. Sometimes I just want someone to yell at me for no reason so I can yell and swear right back, and then we go on our day like nothing happened. Elias shrugged for a third time. It might be a human concept of friendship, but I feel like every conversation here is trying to find some deeper meaning, rather than just some relaxing nothing. Even with Bookbinder and Night Flash, it feels... strained. Like we have nothing to relate about. He sighed. I guess that's partly my fault. My interests are fighting and history about fighting. It doesn't exactly open a lot of avenues for conversation. Luna remained silent as she thought about an appropriate response.
Have you considered trying to find new interests? She asked. You say you lack a friend to, quote, shoot the shit with, but it rather seemed like you enjoyed working with Enyon.
She smiled over her shoulder at Elias.
That old griffin needs more friends anyways, and I would have no qualms with adjusting your guard schedule to occasionally let you help him with his smithing duties. Would such an arrangement be of an interest to you?
Elias tilted his head back and forth as he rolled his tongue in his cheek. Sure. I think that would be fine with me. He paused, then added, though I wouldn't want to impose on Enyon. If he doesn't want me there, I don't want to intrude. Luna scoffed.
What he wants is not part of the equation. What he needs is some pony else to talk to. Besides myself and recently one of my maids, he is alone in that shop of his.
She looked back at Elias.
Much like you, he isolates himself, partly because of the culture differences you have identified as a positive. For those who are not used to his aggressive conversation style, he can be vexing.
Elias snorted. That's a funny way to say speaks like everyone should. Luna rolled her eyes.
Quite.
They came upon their destination, and Luna did her best to disguise her smile as she paused before the closed door. She calmly looked Elias up and down, snorting slightly at the smell of burnt hair and charcoal on the man. Still, even with a few black spots, he was clean enough for what came next. She cleared her throat as she met Elias's eyes.
Guardsman, today an exercise of your choosing designed either to draw out your inner anguish or provide a method for relief of inner turmoil. This door,
she said, gesturing at the closed and silent door before them,
leads to Bookbinder, Night Flash, and an array of ponies that have been chosen for a special reason.
Elias's eyes narrowed. What reason? He asked suspiciously. Luna smiled mischievously.
You shall see if you choose it.
Elias glanced at the door, then back to Luna, and he crossed his arms. And what is the other option? He asked. Luna gestured down the hallway.
The other choice is to have a long, detailed conversation with one of the psychologists I have hired to observe your behavior these past months. Observation is useful, but not truthful answers from your mouth are much more insightful. I shall let Bookbinder or Nightflash come along for this task to help you remain calm, but I shall not allow both.
Elias had several questions, but the most important one in his mind was about the observing part. How long and how much have I been spied on? Luna waved a huff.
Fear not, Elias. The observers only watch when you exit your room or when you are inside with one of your friends. Any private things like changing or showering were only observed by myself, and even that wasn't every day.
Elias looked at her in disbelief. And how's that supposed to make me feel any better? He blinked stupidly. Wait, you've been watching me shower? Luna scoffed.
You act like I've been peeping on you. I have been observing your bathing behaviors to see what consistencies, if any, you have between showers, evaluating how you bathe based on the stress of the day. Even if I was just watching to watch you in the nude, the scrying spell makes sure to cover any private areas that would normally be hidden by your underclothes. Besides, it is common for ponies to bathe together, Elias. There is nothing on your nude person that I have not seen before, however impressive it may be.
Luna flushed red when she realized what she said, and her expression was matched by Elias, who now refused to meet her eyes. I'm going to ignore that, and decidedly go with the second option, if for no better reason to determine if I'm going to attack the shrink that's been watching me every day. Luna grumbled as she stared at the closed door.
Of course you did, she mumbled. Couldn't just win me a few bits?
Elias raised an eyebrow and crossed his arms. What was that, princess? She waved her hoof dismissively.
It's of no import for you. Which pony do you want to come with you for comfort?
Elias thought for a second. On one hand, Bookbinder would likely be the more effective choice with all the mother stuff. But then again, Nightflash had a very good track record for catching his panic attacks. The Pegasus seemed to react with lightning-quick reflexes, comforting Elias before he even realized he was having an attack. Elias frowned. He didn't want to hurt Bookbinder's feelings, though. Would she mind if he picked Nightflash over her? Or for that matter, would Nightflash feel left out if he picked Bookbinder? Elias ran his hands through his facial hair, then looked to Luna, who was watching him carefully. Are you sure I can't take both? I don't want them to feel shorted. Luna groaned again, much louder this time, and she slapped herself in the face.
Why did I make that bet? Godsman, you are destroying all of my expectations and my royal bank account.
Her head thudded into the wall.
Why must you act as you do?
Elias smirked at the princess. I live to disappoint. For curiosity's sake, who are you making bets with?
That would be me,
Nightshade said cheerfully as she popped into view beside Luna. Elias briefly wondered how long she had been there. He had forgotten she could turn invisible. He wondered if it was something special in her armor. Luna grumbled as she handed the Thestral a comically oversized bag of bits from beneath her wing.
Here is your payment, Captain, even though you may lose it if Gosman Bright succeeds in the third phase of tonight's exercise.
Nightshade snorted.
Please, 10 minutes, piece of cake. Dr. Rubber Glove won't last 5.
Rubber Glove? Elias echoed. That has certain implications that I don't think I want to address. Luna scoffed.
Dr. Glove is an expert in the matters of the mind. He came all the way from Baltimore to observe and speak with you. I had my doubts that you would be willing to speak with him, but now that those fears have been assuaged, I have no doubts that you two will speak for a great amount of time, especially since you will both have your guards with you.
Elias scowled as he felt a minute pang in his chest. Please don't refer to Bookbinder and Nightflash like that. It makes having them around feel impersonal.
And that agitates you?
Luna asked. Elias's eyes twitched. More than I like. Can we get started already? I don't like all this standing around. Luna snorted but nodded. She made a move down the hall, but Nightshade stopped her.
Princess, I already moved Dr. Glove into this room.
She smiled widely at Elias.
I knew Guardsman Bright wouldn't let me down, so I took the liberty of getting everything set up in a comfortable environment.
Luna frowned at the pony.
This room has windows, does it not?
Nightshade nodded.
And the other room didn't. Don't think I forgot about the second half of our bet. It's double if he throws Glove at the window. She grinned, cocking her head. You weren't trying to skip out on that, were you, princess? Luna grumbled more as she glared at Nightshade, who stood up straight, an innocent smile on her face. Luna sighed and looked to Elias. Please just keep your violent reactions to a minimum. Dr. Glove can be a bit zealous in his methods, and I really need a win today. 11 minutes is all I ask. Nightshade tisked. Princess, you shouldn't be forcing Elias not to act out his emotions. Suppressing that kind of thing could be bad for him. Luna's head whipped towards the Thestral. That is why I did not give him an order, Captain. He is free to act as he wishes. Luna gave Elias what he imagined was supposed to be a sultry look, which only served to make him uncomfortable. Though, I would be perfectly willing to reward a certain human for assisting me in my victory. Elias gave her a look of discomfort. You make me want to lose with that expression. Luna pouted at him while Nightshade giggled. The Thestral elbowed the alicorn, grinning at her. Go on, princess. Tell Bright what his reward would have been. I'm sure that'll make it even funnier. Luna flushed red, which Elias took as a sign of whatever it was most definitely not what he would consider a reward. I just wish to take him to see my old castle, Luna grumbled. He had indicated that he had an interest in exploring. Elias blinked. Really? That actually sounds great. Luna perked up instantly, her normal flowing tail wagging slightly. Truly? She asked excitedly. Because I wish to take you to the Everfree to see it. The ruins have been unoccupied for years, and I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to see more of Equestria. Elias felt a grin touch his face. That actually sounds like fun. I wouldn't want to explore some ruins. It's something straight out of a Daring Do book. Nightshade groaned and face-hoofed as she passed the bag of bits back to Luna, who cheered. Come on, Bright. You lived in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, and even you got sucked in by those lame books. What is every pony's thing about those things? I shrugged. Bookbinder reads them to me, and she does a bunch of voices, so they seem to really pop. Dragged me in a book at a time. Luna stuck her tongue out at Nightshade. See, Captain? It was bonding experience. Those lame books serve as a positive influence. She hefted the bag and grinned widely. That bed has been building silently for over a month. Oh, joyous days. She smiled brightly at Elias. Thank you, Guardsman. You have done well this night. Now all you need to do is survive 10 minutes with Dr. Glove, and this night shall be truly profitable. Elias found himself lurching through the air as Luna opened the door and tossed him into a waiting chair. Bookbinder and Nightflash both blinked in surprise and his sudden entrance, but the latter quickly found place in Elias's lap, while the former crawled onto his shoulder as she untied his hair and began to brush it out. The yellow unicorn before him tutted and wrote down a few notes on his clipboard before he looked up at Elias and smiled widely. Well, Mr. Bright, I think we could begin. Elias heard a loud click behind him, and he half turned to look at the door. What was that? He asked. The unicorn smiled. Just ensuring you can't duck out early, Mr. Bright. I want to get a full hour with you. Elias's eyes narrowed as he stared at the pony. Nightflash sighed, guiding the human's hands up to his ears. Luna and Nightshade both flapped just outside the room where Elias's session with Dr. Glove was taking place, staring at their watch as if their lives depended on it. The seconds ticked by painfully for both of them. As the small hand neared the 10-minute mark, Luna licked her lips in anticipation as it crawled ever closer to the cutoff, while Nightshade gnawed on her lip, praying desperately that the shouts they were currently listening to would escalate further. She knew she shouldn't, but she really wanted the bits the bet would win her back. She needed the money to begin to prepare her master plan to win a certain stallion's heart. Luna cheered silently as the hand passed 10 minutes. Nightshade groaned softly. She then threw up her hooves as the good doctor came through the window 3 seconds later. While Luna caught the unicorn in her magic, Nightshade flew through the window, scowling at Elias, who matched her scowl with one of his. The human was clenching and unclenching his fist while an irritated bookbinder and Nightflash glared at the window while Rubber Glover had made a fast, forced exit. Nightshade wasn't focused on that, however. Really, Bright? She snapped. You couldn't have done that 20 seconds ago. Now I owe Princess Luna like 50 bits, and you made me lose all my gains from earlier. Elias snorted dismissively as he sat back down. Nightflash hopped back into his lap.
sitting like a cat on his lap, where Elias's hand quickly found his way to the Pegasus' ears. Nightshade briefly wished she could trade places with the pony. Those ear scratches really look good. And those fingers... Nightshade shook her head, trying to find her irritation as Luna touched lightly back into the room with Rubber Glove in tow. The unicorn brushed himself off as he sat back on his feet, and he huffed loudly. Well, if that's how you want to act, I believe I shall remain as strictly an observer. I was made to believe you would open to any and all options that would improve your temperament, but it would seem that I am mistaken. Bookbinder growled at the unicorn as she settled back on Elias's shoulder.
I suggest, Doctor, that you do not talk to us about your solutions again. If Elias hadn't put you through that window, I definitely would have, and believe me, I would not have been as gentle.
Luna frowned as she looked between Bookbinder and Rubber Glove. The unicorns glared at each other hatefully.
I fear I shared Dr. Glove's surprise, God's pony. I would have expected finding a solution for Elias's aggression would have been a top priority for you. I apologize, Princess, but I will not neuter my baby boy because he hurts the occasional pony, especially since so far they have absolutely deserved it.
Luna felt her blood go cold at the unicorn's words, and she and Nightshade turned to glare at Rubber Glove. The unicorn flinched under their intense gaze, and he chuckled nervously, rubbing the back of his head. Princess, it's not so drastic as the solution. Mr. Bright is very similar to nature to the gorillas we have in the Baltimore Zoo. One of the great apes had an issue getting along with the rest, but a quick snip later and he was as docile as a puppy. I thought perhaps I would mention the solution as a last-ditch effort. He cowered when Luna's glare intensified. It was just a hypothetical, of course. Luna closed her eyes and took a deep breath to avoid throwing the pony out the window herself. When she opened them, her steely demeanor did nothing to comfort Rubber Glove, as the unicorn continued backing away, squeaking as his rump hit the wall.
Dr. Glove, I find that I no longer have need of your services,
Luna said coldly.
I tasked you to find a way to ease Guardsman Bright's eternal suffering so that he may find his peaceful center. All of this would help him to act less aggressively in his day-to-day interactions, not to remove his aggression completely. What I did not task was to treat him like a misbehaving dog.
Her snarl caused Glove to flinch. She wisely remained silent as Luna continued.
To suggest such a thing is an affront to the oaths you have sworn as a medical practitioner, and rest assured, the proper authority shall be told of your little hypothetical. Pray that you have not suggested similar ideas elsewhere in your practice.
She looked to Nightshade, who looked like she was a second away from jumping the pony.
Take Dr. Glove from this room and have him on a train to Baltimore within the hour. Tell the rest of the doctors that they will clear out if they share this idea. I will not stand in this sort of talk. It is abhorrent and cruel. At the very least, and if any of them are found to be in possession of such an idea in their observational notes, and they do not leave this night, they will be punished.
Nightshade nodded and saluted crisply. She stalked up to Glove, grabbing him roughly. The unicorn flinched as he walked by Elias and his parents, with each giving him a nasty glare as he cowered away. As the door slammed behind the pair, Luna sighed deeply.
Guardsman Bright, God's Pony's Night Flash and Bookbinder, I offer my sincerest apologies. Dr. Rubber Glove was said to be the best psychologist in Baltimore, even with his eccentricities. I assure you that this practice will be thoroughly investigated for this. I had no idea that his oddities would become so ugly.
Elias nodded blankly, his anger vanishing with the unicorn gone from the room. It's fine, Princess. He's gone now, and you got rid of everyone like him, so shouldn't have any issues. He's just lucky I got to him first. Bookbinded snorted in agreement.
I'd show him what aggressive meant. Stupid know-nothing boneheaded.
Elias leaned back against the unicorn's chest fluff, staring up at her silently, and Bookbinder sighed, then laid herself over his face, smothering the human as she hugged his head.
Don't worry, baby. I'll never let any pony get at you like that.
Elias grunted as he continued scratching Night Flash's ears, while the Pegasus glared at the carpet darkly. Luna turned to the window, casting a spell to retard its solid glass pane. As the shards filtered back into place, she sighed again, rubbing her forehead. If Elias didn't like the idea of dealing with a psychologist before, he definitely wouldn't like that now that Night Flash and Bookbinder were stacked against the idea. Despite her victory in the bet, the experiment had not turned out as she had hoped. Taking a deep breath once more, Luna looked to Elias, who had a single eye poking free from Bookbinder's fluff. Every time he exhaled, the unicorn would giggle softly as his breath ruffled her tummy fur. The sight brought a smile to Luna's face.
I again apologize, Elias. Had I known that Dr. Glove would recommend a treatment such as that, I would have never have considered him to speak with you.
Elias waved her apology away. It's fine, princess. He's gone. It's done. Do I still get to go to the ruins with that you mentioned, though? Luna sighed and shook her head as she smiled at the human.
Of course, Elias. It will take some time to free up my schedule, but we shall go to my old castle as soon as possible.
Elias gave her a thumbs up, then scooped up Night Flash, while also swiping Bookbinder from his head. The two ponies squirmed and gripped at the human as Elias laughed at them, carrying both under his arms as he walked from the room. There we go. Another wonderful chapter, and I love seeing parent Night Flash and Bookbinder. They are so cute, and just Bookbinder's,
He's lucky that I didn't get to him.
is so adorable, but on character so hard that I love her. What else that I love
Are my wonderful Patreons. Thank you, Chase the Master, HKH4 aka Texture, The Animated Ghost, Selness, Mike the Wolf, and Stu Hex. And of course, a wonderful thank you to Silent Titan. Your support is greatly appreciated, and I thank you guys so much.
Anyways, I don't know why I did that. This has been Firehearth. Have a wonderful day.